just the tiniest amount of money coming into this sector can be explosive. We have been beat to a pulp. This is the valley of despondency and despair. If you are one of the few, the proud, who are into this, you are in the right place. If you're into physical gold, you are in the right place. You clicked on the right video. If you are into precious metal mining stocks, you're also in the right place. Maybe you're into all three. Hey, I've got some great news I want to share with you, but I have to warn you. First, we got to take a little trip through the valley of despondency and despair. But don't worry, that valley, that despondency, that despair is actually what's going to lay the foundation, be the bedrock for this good news I'm going to share with you in this video. I'm glad you're here in Ron's basement, where you're always welcome. Let's get started right now. Hey, let's face it, we have been through hell and back several times in the last couple years, couple months, maybe even decades, us investors in the precious metals mining sector. And now when I say that, I include gold. And gold's done probably physical gold best of everything. But the mining stocks have been a real challenge, and physical silver hasn't fared much better. We have been just beat down. I've heard people refer to it as the battered bull syndrome. I've heard other people refer to it like the Peanuts. Remember the Peanuts cartoon where Lucy would be holding the football for Charlie Brown to kick it, and then when he ran up to kick, she'd pull it out of the way? Feels like that alone has happened like 4 times in the last year. We have been beat to a pulp. This is the valley of despondency and despair. Welcome. But don't you forget, I'm going to give you some great, awesome news at the end of the video. But while we're in the valley here of despondency and despair, Peter Grandich has a great chart he likes to share. I'm going to pull it up for you right now. It basically shows the different emotional states that investors go through. It's kind of a cycle that repeats itself over and over. And he says, and I agree 100%, we are at that like bottom phase, despondency, depression, I think it is. Maybe a couple glimmers of hope have happened 2 or 3 times, like I said, in the last 2 to 3 years. But then just get, Lucy pulls the football. We just get slammed back down. The sentiment in the precious metals sector in general, in particular, the mining stock, in particular, the junior mining stock sector, is absolutely, it's not just on the floor of my basement, it's in the poop pipe that runs underneath my basement floor. And while technically, especially the metals, may be considered to be in a long-term bull cycle, don't forget the point of a bull market, it's like a bull in a rodeo, is to throw you off, to get you to capitulate, to say, I'm done, I can't take it anymore. Those of you, yes, you and me, watching this video, we've hung tough. We're the few, we're the proud. We are the ones who stand to gain the most reward. And I promised you some great news at the end of this video, and you are going to get it. But right now, we are there. We are in the valley. Despondency, despair. You know it. You've hung tight. You've held strong. We are like the core group of people that have built and are building this tiny, small, yet super solid foundation within the precious metals and the precious metal mining stock sector. I put out new content darn near every day about the precious metals and mining sector to help you and me navigate the choppy waters we encounter. If you like what you're hearing, please consider subscribing to my channel, and more importantly, turn on the little bell notifications. That way you'll get notified every day when I release a new video. Now is the time. Are you ready for the good news? I know I'm ready. Number one, Here we are. We're fine. We're in this crappy position, right? Bad sentiment. We covered that already. The valley of despondency and despair. Well, we survived and we're doing just fine. And that's awesome because you know what? When you start out from a crappy spot like we're in now, like on the basement floor, we got a lot of room to go up, a ton of room for improvement. Most of the stocks are near 52-week lows. Silver price has been hammered. We've got a ton of room for improvement, not to mention the fact that the macro factors, this video is not about the macro factors, but all these factors that are just pointing toward solid support and solid growth fundamentals for the price of the precious metals. And we are a tiny sector. That is another huge positive. We are tiny, small, okay? It's easier for a tiny, small sector or a tiny, small number to grow by massive percent than it is for a big number, right? It's easier for a little discount store that's got 5 locations to double in size than it is for Walmart with thousands of locations. We're the tiny retailer. We have very small numbers and small amounts of capital in our sector right now. It's not going to take a lot. When these people, these other investors start looking around and saying, well, my tech stocks aren't doing worth a crap. The S&P 500's not doing worth a crap. Crypto's not doing worth a crap. Real estate's not doing worth a crap. Oh, there's the precious metals, which also just happen to be perfectly set up for stagflationary environment like we're heading into. Just the tiniest amount of money coming into this sector can be explosive, okay? We aren't talking about numbers like Apple and NVIDIA and companies like that. No, we have small numbers. And let's talk about value. Price is what you pay. Value is what we get. And there is no better value in the market, whether you're looking at physical metal or the mining stocks. Hey, I have a degree in accounting. I can analyze numbers as good as anybody. There are no other values that even roughly compare to what you get with the precious metals or the mining stocks. So when you add it all up, I think the future looks bright and shiny for our friends, precious metals and the miners. I mean, we've got sentiment that really is going to have a hard time getting worse. Outstanding value proposition presented by the metals and the miners. We have the law of small numbers on our side. Our sector is small, okay? And it's not going to take much coming into it to have a huge impact on a percentage growth basis. Also, we're one of the select areas right now with the macroeconomic environment, stagflation, everything else that look very attractive. Don't give up, precious metal warriors. Remember, the Buddhists have a saying, from the mud grows flowers. Things will get better. And when you take a step back and look at the forest through the trees, we have a bright future. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you contributing to Ron's Basement. I will look forward to seeing you next time.